Chào sinh viên, tên của anh là Vĩ. À, anh năm nay 24 tuổi và anh đang học ở Đại học Columbia. So my name is Brandon Nguyen. I was born and raised in Long Island, New York, and I am currently 24 years old and studying political science with a concentration in statistics. My grandparents and my parents immigrated from Vietnam, a war-torn country, around 1975 during the fall of Saigon. And my grandfather served in the South Vietnamese army, and he was fighting for his country, right? It wasn't until the South Vietnamese army lost the war and America ultimately lost the war where he was forced to go to re-education camps. And he escaped the war-torn country to America because he served alongside US Marines and the US military. And that is how they immigrated from Vietnam to America. Any either first gen or any immigrants that freshly immigrated to America, there was a lot of troubles that my grandparents and my parents faced. Since English wasn't their primary language, they struggled a lot, whether it was financially, finding a job, or just every facet of life you can think of, they struggled. But despite their troublesomes, they overcame everything. So my grandfather had to work 3 jobs while my grandmother had to watch all her kids, and she has a total of 7 kids. And it was a very hard time for them. And the way how they overcame their environment and their situation was to focus on work and for a better future. So in high school, I was not a good student since my parents were immigrants and they didn't understand the American education system, let alone the system itself. I had to navigate the American system all by myself since I was the oldest child. And I often went through many obstacles like how to study, what's the point of homework, what am I going to do after, high school? And I just was directionless. So I was going through the motions. I looked at my peers and said, oh, these guys are taking standardized testing such as ACTs and SATs or the pre-SATs. And I was just going through motions. And as someone that just doesn't understand their drive for these metrics, naturally I didn't perform well. So that led me to eventually, with a low score, I went to community college because that's what everyone that doesn't understand what they're doing in college transitions to. It was more affordable, it was easier for my parents, and it was very close to home. So I wasn't paying for housing because all I was doing is commuting from my house to the school while working part-time. So straight out of high school, I graduated, got my diploma, and I did not apply to college because I still did not know what to do. So immediately, if someone that doesn't know what they're going to do after high school, you look either to join the job force or to pursue a higher education to qualify for more jobs. So it wasn't until community college when I found my drive because I was surrounded by amazing individuals. And I was introduced to diversity for the first time in my life. So I've met people struggling from that freshly immigrated, such like my parents. And I also experienced people from the top 1%, that their life was given to them and they're just at college to go through the motions to get the pedigree to continue their family business. And that experience of being exposed to numerous of individuals led me to understand how life worked. So there, I had a special interest of computers because I was really good with coding, and I was good in math, but not naturally, I went through the technology route. So I said, okay, I know what I want to do, but my parents does not have the financial means to pursue college. So I didn't want to burden my parents with, hundreds of thousands of debt, because in order to succeed in today's America, name matters to extent. But if you're pursuing STEM, it doesn't matter. So in college, I knew what I wanted to do now, right? I grew up, didn't really care about academics because it didn't interest me, because I was always asking myself, what's the point? Ooh, I got an A, I got a B, I got a C. My life was still the same. I went home, my parents were struggling, my brothers was navigating their own way, and it wasn't until in community college, like I said previously, where I found my drive, and this drive was technology. So I knew that college would be expensive to pursue a bachelor's degree, right? And that's why I looked into other options, whether it was scholarships, grants, but ultimately I was led through the military because I looked at my family's history. Since my grandfather served in the Vietnam War, and through that service, his whole entire family of 8 was able to achieve the American dream, So it was amazing seeing my grandfather being in that position. So I want to give back to my country too. And also for selfish reasons too, to get, the amazing financial means of college, of the GI Bill. So I enlisted in the military with, which wasn't an easy decision because the stigma around the military is often gung-ho, you're going there, boots on the ground, war, combat. However, there's so many aspects of the military, from admin jobs to medical jobs to support jobs. It's not necessarily, you hold a weapon and there you are. So what drove me towards the Air Force, because the Air Force is the leading innovator of technology, right? I want to be surrounded by the latest and greatest new tech, whether it be classified or unclassified. I want to surround myself, because nowhere in the world where you're exposed to high-level individuals and also top leading technology. So I said, okay, if I want to be a programmer or do anything technology related, Air Force is the best place to be. But because they support on cyber missions, aerospace, and space, but not anymore since now there's a Space Force. But they originated from the Air Force. What differentiates all the other military branches is their mission set, right? Ultimately, all the branches fall in the DoD, which is the Department of Defense, but Air Force focuses on aerial support, right? So anything with an airplane, the Air Force supports. The Army focuses on logistics, right? So they focus more on conventional warfare, whether that's be as an infantryman, as a tank, or to establish bases. The Navy protects our sea, right? So we have ships and naval bases across the world to operate in certain mission sets. And then you have the Marines, who are literally what you believe is the traditional military, which is the stigma of, boots on the ground, I'm here to do work, tell me what to do, perhaps combat. Lastly, I believe we have the Coast Guard. To this day, I'm not really sure what the Coast Guard does, but I'm sure they protect America's waters, whatever that may be, whether that's fighting pirates, saving a ship that just went overboard. There's many mission sets that they are involved in, but I'm not really familiar. The reserve is if you do not want to do a full-time military gig, right? Based on the top of my head, you're going to have to double check me, is the reserve serves, I believe, they do drill once every month, and every 6 months they do a couple weeks of training. And that's when you're a part-time military person. So the military is very interesting, right? It's very important to do your due diligence and research what you want to do in the future. Because the military, at the end of the day, it's up to whatever they want, right? So you can say, hey, I want this type of job and I scored high, but military needs comes first. And there's a trend, right? If you join any branch such as Air Force, Marine, anything that's not Air Force, I'm very biased because I served in the Air Force, but the Air Force gives you at least an illusion of choice. And I believe that branch will actually help you develop further in your career. But that's not down talking any other branches. Other branches have amazing opportunities. High school, didn't know what to do. I was just another kid. You know, my parents was telling me the stereotypical thing, that every Asian American probably experiences: become a doctor, become a lawyer, become an engineer, anything STEM related. And they're, in sense, they are right. But it's very important to find your drive. What actually, what can you picture yourself doing and getting? What can you picture yourself doing and falling in love with? Because that's something that you will be focusing majority of your life. So I initially thought it was technology. Technology is great, don't get me wrong. Coding is the future, right? But I discovered more about my personality during my time in community college and in the military, and also doing community college while I was inside the military. I discovered this is amazing, right? I'm getting actual tangible results when I code for my classes, and also real world scenarios and real world operations for the military. Um, I discovered very fast, life is about all learning new things, that during my time at Columbia, turns out coding is just the bare necessity. Everyone should learn how to code. So I said, okay, what do I specialize in just besides a technical skill? And that's where I learned that being a leader, developing soft skills is much, much more important than developing technical skills. So talking to other individuals, learning how to sit up straight, to actually present yourself. There's so many other things to learn in college or through anywhere in life. And it's not just, pursuing a grade. It extends further than that.